Okay, so when you picture a city that, really pulses with feeling, with intellect, history, there's this certain spirit, right?
Yeah, definitely. And for a lot of people, Kolkata immediately comes to mind, the city of joy.
Exactly. That's the one. It's the capital of West Bengal, of course. But it feels like so much more the cultural heart of Eastern India, really.
Undeniably.
So our plan for this deep dive is to, well, unpack that, to get into that mix of colonial history, the spiritual side, the art, and how it all fits with modern life there.
hmm To sort of understand what makes Kolkata,
Hmm.
Kolkata, what gives it that unique, profound feeling.
Right. Let's start with the history then. How did that colonial beginning shape the city we know now?
Well, it's fundamental, really. Kolkata's story kicks off with the British East India Company. They founded it way back in 1690.
Wow. Okay, so pretty early on.
Yeah. And crucially, it became the capital of British India right up until 1911.
That's a long time. So it wasn't just like an administrative center.
Not at all. Because it was the capital, it was also this major center, a real hotbed for the independence movement later on. Resistance was always sort of simmering beneath the surface.
You can still see that history so clearly, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's baked into the city's landscape. You've
Yeah.
got these grand architectural statements like the Victoria
A
Memorial
stunning building.
and Fort William, which is massive,
Yeah.
and St. Paul's Cathedral. Very clear reminders of that colonial era.
But it's not just the colonial stuff, is it?
No, and that's the fascinating part. Right alongside that, you find statues, memorials, things that speak directly to Kolkata's revolutionary side, honoring the freedom fighters who pushed back against that exact rule.
So there's this tension built right in.
Exactly. It's a city built on that dynamic, that transformation. The past isn't just, over and done with. It feels like a conversation that's still happening.
And that conversation definitely led somewhere incredible. It wasn't just about politics. It sparked this powerful cultural identity.
Mm.
So how did that happen? How does a city born under foreign rule become India's, undisputed cultural capital and keep it going today?
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? A
Yeah.
huge part of that is the Bengal Renaissance in the 19th century.
Right, I've heard about that. An awakening, sort of.
Exactly, an intellectual artistic explosion that really shaped modern Indian thinking. And think about the giants who came out of that period.
Like Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore, yeah, the first non-European Nobel laureate. His work still resonates everywhere. And Satyajit Ray.
The filmmaker, Oscar winner.
You got it. His films are classics.
Right.
And Swami Vivekananda, the spiritual leader who took Indian philosophy global, essentially.
Wow, quite a lineup.
And the thing is, that legacy isn't just history collecting dust. Those deep roots are still feeding the city's culture right now. It's not just part of Kolkata. It is Kolkata. It's pulse.
You can feel that today.
Oh, definitely. You see it everywhere. Countless theaters, buzzing art galleries, literary festivals popping up. And the bookstores, especially around College Street, that whole historic area.
College Street, yeah. Famous for books.
Absolutely. And then you have big annual events like the Kolkata International Film Festival drawing crowds, and of course, Durga Puja.
Ah, Durga Puja, that's huge, isn't it?
Massive.
Yeah.
And so culturally significant that UNESCO actually put it on their intangible cultural heritage list.
Okay, that UNESCO recognition says a lot. It really drives home that global cultural weight.
It does.
And, talking about culture seems to lead straight into Kolkata's intellectual life. They seem tightly linked.
They absolutely are.
So how did education and that famous intellectual sparring shape the city's soul?
Well, that's a really interesting question, isn't it? What does it actually mean for a city when intellectual debate is just part of everyday life?
Right.
Education has always been massive in Kolkata. You've got these incredibly prestigious institutions, President's University, Jadavpur University, the University of Calcutta. They've produced generations of scholars, leaders.
And another Nobel laureate came from there too, right? Amartya Sen.
That's right, Amartya Sen, the economist, born in Kolkata. So you have this really fierce intellectual culture. It's not just in university.
Where else does it happen?
Everywhere. Debates about politics, art, philosophy.
Yeah.
They spill out into the cafes, onto the trams. It's this amazing mix of passion and, real deep thinking. It's quite rare.
So it's just in the air.
It almost feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like intellectual curiosity isn't just something you do. It's part of the rhythm of the city.
I can almost picture it stumbling into some deep philosophical chat over like a cup of chai.
That can genuinely happen.
So how does that affect everyday people beyond the academics? Does it make people more, I don't know, engaged or critical?
I think it absolutely does. It fosters a population that tends to be quite critical, politically aware, and just generally engaged with ideas. It's not only about formal schooling.
Mm-hmm.
It's more a widespread respect for knowledge, for argument, for debate. You find folks from all walks of life getting into really thoughtful discussions. It builds this civic culture where questioning things is just normal,
Yeah.
expected even.
That's fascinating. A really core part of their identity then.
Definitely.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, Kolkata also has this incredibly deep spiritual side, doesn't it? Which seems tied to a real sense of compassion.
Yes, very much so. It's a profoundly spiritual place. You have these incredibly revered ancient temples like Kalihat Dakshans, where Kali temples,
Important pilgrimage site.
huge ones. And then there's Bilur Math, the headquarters for the Ramakrishna mission.
Right. And you can't talk about Kolkata's spirit without mentioning Mother Teresa, surely.
Absolutely not. Her legacy is immense, globally recognized. Her work with the poorest in the city's slums, founding the Missionaries of Charity, it's still inspiring millions.
Her presence must still be felt there.
It is. Yeah. And I think it highlights that Kolkata's spirituality isn't just about rituals or temples, though those are important. It's also deeply connected to this ethos of compassion, of service. It permeates the city.
So, beyond figures like Mother Teresa, how does that spiritual foundation kind of seep into the city's overall vibe? Does it affect community spirit today?
I think it creates this really interesting mix of uh, resilience and maybe altruism. You see that spiritual feeling translate into a strong community spirit,
Especially during festivals.
definitely during festivals like Durga Puja. The way whole neighborhoods collaborate, the hospitality, it's incredible. But it's also there in quieter ways, in grassroots community work, support networks that just kind of thrive.
That makes sense. This deeply rooted soul, whether it's philosophical or compassionate, it must nourish other things too, like the food.
Ah, yes. The food.
People rave about Kolkata's food. It sounds like it really mirrors that cultural richness.
Yeah.
What stands out for you? How does it reflect the city?
Oh, the food is a have whole journey in itself.
Yeah.
Seriously. You've got the sweets, which are legendary, like rosogola, those spongy, syrupy dumplings,
I've heard of those.
and mishti doi. It's this incredible sweet yogurt, really rich. But then you also have this savory, spicy stuff, like fuchkas.
What are those exactly?
They're these little crispy hollow purees, and they fill them with spiced potatoes, chickpeas, and this tangy tamarind water. Addictive.
Sounds amazing.
And kathi rolls, basically skewers of marinated meat or paneer, cooked and then wrapped up in a paratha bread. So good.
Wow. Okay, I'm hungry now.
Haha. Right. And underlying it all is Bengali cuisine itself, often centered on rice and fish, but with this really delicate, complex balance of flavors. It's comforting but sophisticated.
So it's not just tasty, it's like another way into the city's soul.
Exactly. Just like the art or the debates, it's a sensory connection to its history and its heart.
And it's that deep soul expressed through food or philosophy or compassion that probably helps Kolkata navigate the present day, right?
I think so.
So how does it manage that balancing act, keeping all that timeless charm alive while still, moving forward and modernizing?
It's a really interesting integration, not just like two separate things existing side by side. Kolkata doesn't seem to want to ditch its past to grab the future.
It uses it somehow.
Yeah, it feels like it leverages its heritage. It's a launch pad for innovation, not just some old backdrop. You see the modern stuff, the metro system expanding, new shopping malls, tech parks springing up, startups.
So it is embracing progress.
Definitely stepping into the future.
Yeah.
But then right alongside that, you still have the iconic yellow ambassador taxis puttering around.
The classic Kolkata taxi.
The hand-pulled rickshaws and those old colonial-era trams rattling along. That old world feeling is still completely there.
So it's a blend.
It's more than a blend. It's like
Yeah.
the city's genius lies in figuring out how to hold on to its history, maybe even more in parts of it, while celebrating it and using it to fuel what comes next. It's a cultural evolution that not many cities manage quite like this.
It's not just about preserving buildings then.
No, it's about preserving a way of life, a certain rhythm, that commitment to intellectual stuff, to art, that somehow manages to coexist with iPhones and tech hubs.
That's quite a feat. It holds on to the past so tightly, yet it's clearly moving forward. Does that ever cause friction, though? Is it always smooth sailing between heritage and development?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
No, it's not always seamless. There are absolutely tensions. Debates about development versus preservation happen all the time, just like in any big city.
Right.
But what feels different in Kolkata is how those debates happen, often with that same intellectual energy we talked about. It's like the city's identity is partly defined by constantly negotiating that balance. Progress rarely seems to steamroll the city's core character, its soul.
That makes sense. So